Vaughn Allen Sports.
Today on Headlines, we're going to be talking about Tim Tebow. All right, now, before we get started, I've got to just lay it all out there. When he was the quarterback for the Denver Broncos, when he was drafted, I didn't even keep up with Tim Tebow. I barely even, I knew he existed in college, but it wasn't a big deal to me. I don't follow college. I don't really care. I remember his name, of course, because you can't really ignore his, how big his name was at the time. And I always, know the big college guys, but I never had any love or hate or any kind of emotion at all towards them. I just didn't care. Until you get to the NFL and you actually do something in the NFL, then I'll pay attention to you, and because just that's my preference. It's not personal or anything. No bias there at all. I have always had a very low opinion of journalism in general. It's always been kind of crap, but what I have witnessed since Monday regarding Tim Tebow has got to be one of the most pathetic, absolute, ridiculous, and embarrassing things I have seen from the media in sports. I won't say in general because, my God, I have seen a lot of stupid crap. But in sports journalism, I have never seen such whining, such baby bullshit. I'm talking grown men crying like a bunch of little children that somebody took their little toy, or someone got a little more cereal in their bowl than you did, okay? Or the Cracker Jack toy happened to land in his hand instead of the other kid. Oh my God. We're going to have to go through this one at a time because there's so many stupid things involved. But this thing goes down the rabbit hole. We have to explore the football scenario, the football reasons why or why not to sign Tim Tebow. And of course, they completely jumped the shark and took this into a whole nother area, which is stupid.
There should be a lot of tight ends out there that are looking for a job who they should be pissed potentially in this entire thing. But
I like Pat. All right. I like Pat McAfee. He is not one of the guys I'd consider bad in the media department. And precisely because he's not really what I'd call a media member, as far as a guy who came up the media ranks. And he tries to keep it real for the most part and all this. And as this show gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it's kind of a little hard to do that. But in this case, I'm a little confused about some of the things he says. But of course, like I said, I'm a subscriber to Pat and all that. But Pat, when you say that some tight ends should be pissed off, is there some kind of building where tight ends are lining up for welfare because they're unemployed? And there's like a big lineup of all these wonderful tight ends that can't get signed because of Tim Tebow. And all of a sudden, Tim Tebow swoops in and takes their government cheese out of their hand right before they can get to the end of the line. Really? Bullshit. Bullshit, all right? I just watched 2 years of the New England Patriots tight ends. Don't tell me, all right, that there are tons of tight ends out there waiting for a chance and going to get their shot. Bullcrap. There are over 300 million people in the United States of America, and we can't even find 32 starting quarterbacks. We cannot find 32 guys who are good enough to be what we would consider franchise quarterbacks. So we can't even fill up the entire league so every team has a great quarterback. 32. We can't find 32 quarterbacks. With the tight end situation, how many teams do we have that has garbage tight ends? Like, just complete and utter garbage. Who needed tight ends this year? Let me think. The Jaguars. The Jaguars needed tight ends. So tell me, where is this? Where are these people? I just want to know, where are these people? And if they're so good, won't they be able to beat out Tim Tebow? That's what I don't get. What I had to endure and watch in the Patriots post-Gronkowski era. Give me Tim Tebow running around in a circle on the field in a diaper. Give me that instead of what you gave me the last 2 years in New England. All right? Don't even talk to me about some guys should be pissed because Tim Tebow's getting a... All right, before we even get carried away, I just want to lay this down. The Jacksonville Jaguars has to give Tim Tebow a designation of some sort, all right? They have to give him a designation, whether they write him down as tight end or a fullback or a running back or a quarterback, whatever. He has to be given a position. All right, it's the same thing with special teams, guys. You look up Matthew Slater, he's assigned a position. What is that position? Matthew Slater is assigned the wide receiver position. Even though we all know that Matthew Slater would not make any roster as a wide receiver. So that's his designation though, but his real value is on special teams and one of the greatest special teamers who have ever lived. So there you go. The new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars is his former coach for the Florida Gators, Urban Meyer. All right, well, that makes sense. Let's see. Urban Meyer won 2 national championships with this kid. Urban Meyer sees Tim Tebow like a son, not as a player, but an actual son. Are you telling me you're not going to give your son a shot? But before we get into the whole nepotism crap that the accusations going around, let's just talk about the logical football or athletic reasons why this would make sense. How many undrafted rookies you got coming in? You have no idea who they are, and you have no idea what they're capable of, right? Okay. Undrafted rookie. It means they weren't even, you didn't think they were good enough to even go in the first 7 rounds. Okay, fine. Nobody wanted these guys. You can find some good stuff sometimes. But don't tell me there's a bunch of guys out there that aren't getting a job because of Tim Tebow. That is just completely idiotic to say that. The next step would be to sign him, and that would allow him to come to training camp. Or even, hell, before training camp, come to OTAs. I would even go as far as to say is put him with the rookies, the rookie camp, okay? That's the next step. He's not starting tomorrow in week 1. He didn't just get $10 million. Then he's got to survive training camp. How many levels of cuts in training camp? He's got to survive all the way down. And now the rosters, they're allowing them more. Because of this COVID situation, they changed the situation. And now a roster can have more guys. You can even put more guys on the practice squad. So whose roster spot is being taken? Nothing matters as long as Tim Tebow is providing some kind of value as a player to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're not talking about a guy getting a tryout who has been sitting on his couch eating Doritos for 8 years. Tim Tebow is a phenomenal athlete. Phenomenal athlete. Athletically, he is such a gifted athlete that you can do different things with him. Of course, he struggled as a quarterback because of his accuracy and his passing. But Tim Tebow survived off of his athleticism as a quarterback and his leadership. So he used those other things that he had because he couldn't throw the ball. Bill Belichick had allegedly spoken to him about changing positions. We don't know exactly what position Belichick was thinking of, but this isn't the first time that Belichick's done something like this. We do know that he drafted Julian Edelman, who played quarterback in college, drafted him. He took Julian Edelman, turned Julian Edelman into a slot receiver and a punt returner at the NFL level. Never done it. Are you listening, Shannon Sharp? Never done it. And then, after that, the secondary was so decimated in New England, you had Julian Edelman out there playing in the freaking secondary. Seriously. I don't think Julian Edelman was ever trained to play defense, and definitely not defense in the NFL, but he did it. And then, after all that, he ultimately found a spot as the staple slot receiver for Tom Brady after Wes Welker left. He was already becoming that before Wes Welker left. It's not easy returning punts. Julian Edelman was a quarterback. I don't understand. How could this be possible? According to Shannon Sharp, this isn't possible. One of the most important things about being a wide receiver or a tight end is understanding the playbook, understanding your assignments, understanding the routes, being on the same page with your quarterback. Well, I think that's something that Tim Tebow has experience with, wouldn't you say? Being a quarterback where you have to know everybody's job. So I would trust a quarterback to convert to any position. I would trust a quarterback conversion to another position more than I would trust the opposite. I would be very concerned about someone going from running back or wide receiver or something like that up to quarterback at the NFL level. If he's physically gifted enough to do it, where's the harm in this? Where's the problem? So, Tim Tebow leaves the NFL because he wants to be quarterback and he's stubborn. And that was one thing I didn't like. I didn't like that he was stubborn. I wanted to see him switch positions for the Patriots. Selfishly, I wanted him on New England. Why did I want him on New England as a different position? Because Belichick did. When Belichick said that he wanted Tim Tebow, when Belichick said the things he said about Tebow, which is great athlete, hard worker, great leader, I was like, ding, ding, ding. Okay, those are all the things that I love in a player. Yes, please. I'll take one of those. Thank you. Take it up to the cash register. I'll take it. Hell yeah. That's the Patriot way. That's what we love. That's what we want in these guys. And we want versatile guys. So I was disappointed in that. Tim Tebow could still be playing on the New England Patriots for all we know. Maybe not, but maybe he does. But he goes and he plays baseball. Gets to play with the New York Mets in spring training. I think that's pretty awesome. Minor leagues, but it's still professional baseball. It's just not Major League Baseball. All you guys do is rant and rave about these quarterbacks right now who can play baseball. Oh, Russell Wilson, he could play baseball if he wanted to. Oh my God, did you see Patrick Mahomes? Did you see what he could do? He was throwing, oh my God, like a shortstop, like a baseball player. Amazing. Yeah, okay, cool. I think it's cool that Russell Wilson works out, you know, with the baseball teams. He loves it. But Tebow had been doing that all these years. Yeah, he's 33. Okay, but he's a 33-year-old who's not taking any hits. Do you know why the shelf life of an NFL player is so short? It's the hits. It's the grind. All of it. It just takes its toll. It's why Julian Edelman has bone on bone. Had nothing to do with age. If you haven't taken a beating, some guys can play into their 40s. I know a guy right now who's a quarterback at 43 years old. Why? Because Brady's been smart. The age number has been thrown around saying 33 is completely misleading. Yes, 33 is old for a guy who had been playing football this entire time, getting lit up. Or let's say he was in pro hockey and getting lit up. All right? What has he been doing? He's been playing baseball, staying in great shape. And even all this time, he stayed in football mentally. Been working for ESPN, doing sports commentary for college football. So it's not like he's checked out of the sport, is my point. This isn't some random dude. I want you to be honest with yourself. Picture this in your mind. You're Urban Meyer. It's not enough just to be good. It's not enough just to win some games. You got to get some excitement going. You've got to make the team believe that they're good. You got to make the team believe that they can do something. So you line up some athletes. You got, okay, that guy is undrafted dude. Maybe you could do something with him. Maybe you could do something with that guy. Okay. You're telling me that if you see Tim Tebow standing there in great shape, his health is perfect, phenomenal, you're not going to pick him? If you said no, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. Either that or you're just stupid and you listen way too much to the media and you're being completely altered by all these athletes, these former athletes getting on ESPN and shit and being complete and utter douchebags. All right? They're jealous because so many of them are retired. They don't like it.
Who they should be pissed potentially in this entire thing. But you got to remember, the NFL is a business. That's the way it is operated. It's not fair. I wish it was. It'd be a lot cooler if it was. I think we would all dream about that. But just like in every business, it is a relationship business. And Tim Tebow has one.
So Pat wishes the world wasn't like that. Oh, okay. He wants it to be more fair. Pat, you got signed to Barstool Sports, which got your name out there for doing this show. Now you're all the way through going through Sirius Radio. That's awesome. That's great. And I love the show. It's fantastic. And you're great at it. But don't tell me that you didn't get that because you weren't Pat McAfee. Because you didn't have connections. You're not some indie sports guy like they try to make it sound like. The people on YouTube sits there and says, oh, the independent sports scene's taken off. Look at Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is not indie. All right? When you can use your playing career to get Peyton Manning on your show, Aaron Rodgers, when you can get AJ Hawk as your co-star, when you can get DeQuell Jackson to come on and talk about Deflategate football, you yourself was punter of the decade, so you're famous in your own right, and you can tell stories about being in the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, in the locker room with Peyton Manning, and all those other great players up in the Colts. So what did you do? You took who you were and the relationships you made, and then on one hand, and then you took your talent. Your talent is comedy and being funny, quick-witted, smart, a great storyteller, which you are all those things. And you put those together, and that equals success. Okay? But I, or nobody else on YouTube who is really independent, will ever be able to get Peyton Manning on their show, or Aaron Rodgers on their show, or anyone else like that, unless we have a relationship, or a hookup, or someone to help us out. Someone who knows somebody who can get that person on. What does this deserve thing mean? I'm very confused. Nothing is done in life without some kind of connection, almost always. The only exception would just be random job interviews where you're headhunted or something. But with things like this, it's rarely the case. Why do coaches draft players from teams of other coaches that they're familiar with? Why does Bill Belichick draft from Rutgers all the time? Because he has a relationship with that program. Why does Bill Belichick draft guys from Alabama? Why does he go after Crimson Tide? Huh? Well, maybe because one of his best friends, Nick Saban, is the coach there. You can call it Nick. Why does Kyle Shanahan have a head coaching job right now? Maybe have anything to do with his father being Mike Shanahan? Maybe? A little? Just a little? Do you have any idea why you know who Sean McVay is? Why you even are aware of his existence? Because when he was a young guy, when he was in his 20s, early 20s, his parents were involved with the Buccaneers, and John Gruden called it a very close connection. But he didn't give details, so I'm only assuming it's either business or family related. But he didn't have a real job for Sean. So he gave him one. As like a dude who just walks around randomly and follows John Gruden around. I don't know what you'd call that, but that's it. That's what he did. I'm sure there are other people who are more qualified for whatever this made-up job was that John Gruden did for Sean McVay.
Thank you so much for watching Von Allen Sports. And don't forget our live show every Saturday at All New on YouTube. We hope you like and share the video. And to make sure you don't miss a thing, click the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified.
Von Allen Sports.
Forever and ever.